Some people say the Bear 650 can't go off-road, so today we're going to find out. So here we are. Now we came here to this byway a few months ago with the Jeep to do a video for our car channel, so if you haven't seen our car channel, go and have a look. But I thought it'd be a good place to try out the Bear off-road for the first time. It's nice and dry now, and I'm no off-roading expert, but the Bear tyres are slightly capable off-road, but you know, they're not going to be brilliant. This is really rather rutted, so he's having to straddle the ruts in the Jeep because otherwise it's going to scrape the underneath, which would be very bad news, obviously. Oh, that's a big one. This exhaust sounds so good. Flies everywhere. Oh my god, so many flies. Who's that lady? That's my mother. That's my mother. And you got a fly in her mouth then. Oh, what an incredible byway. This is absolutely beautiful. Now, if you're not from the UK and you don't know what a byway is, it's essentially a off-road track that has public right-of-way. So we're allowed to ride or drive across this lane. You know, if you're from somewhere like India, you could basically just go up any farm track or off-road bit that you want, and it's not a problem. But you're not allowed to do that here. But on a byway, it's allowed. It's so warm today. 26 degrees. This was a lot more difficult in the wet when we came with the Jeep. It's really muddy. You won't see this on this wide angle DJI, but in the middle of the valley there's a really incredible stately home. I don't know what that is, but it looks magnificent. Oh, dust all over my eyes. Can't see where I'm going now. I mean, this was just a typical farm track in India. Don't try and put your visor up while you're going along. Silly boy. God, blimey, this gets really steep. So we've ridden about half an hour, or ridden and driven, to this byway, and this is one of the longest and gnarliest byways in the area. This one is in Leicestershire. It's got some magnificent views. It's absolutely stunning. It's this section that we've stopped on here, we're halfway through. It's quite gnarly, and it's really steep. And I don't think the camera's going to do it justice, but it really does feel steep. And I think, to be honest, with the Bear, its biggest limiting factor is the tyres off-road. These are much more road biased tyres because 90% of the people who buy this bike will probably never even take it off-road, but it's absolutely, definitely capable of doing so. And with the standard tyres that it's got, it's more than capable of doing some light off-roading, which would be pretty much any byway in the UK, and a lot of the farm tracks and off-road sections in India, which there are a lot of, and this would cope with that ever so easily. But if you wanted to go a bit faster and really open the bike up, that's when I think, well, maybe I want to put some more knobbly tyres on this so I've got more confidence. Because there's a couple of times where I did slip and the front wheel slightly came out, and that sort of doesn't fill you with confidence if that happens, and that's not due to the bike, that is due to the tyres. Now, I've seen a few videos and comments of people saying that, oh, the Bear's no good off-road, but they've never actually ridden it off-road. So how can you say that without riding it off-road? And the suspension's perfectly good enough, it's fantastic, so it soaks up anything you can throw at it. Obviously, if you take it to a motocross track and try and jump 30 feet in the air, you're not going to have enough suspension travel, but it's not the kind of bike you're going to do that on. So for light scrambling and off-road byways and things like that, and little tracks like this, it's perfectly enough. You don't need any more than that. You know, perhaps you could, if you were really serious about off-roading and you wanted to take it a bit further and do some little jumps, then you could look at doing a slightly different suspension setup. But this would perfectly capably do some light jumps as well. I'm sure you could jump this thing 2, 3 or 4 foot in the air and it will soak it up without a fuss. Now, if you enjoy seeing videos like this, exploring the beautiful countryside on a motorcycle, enjoying the motorcycle lifestyle, then this is a channel for you. So make sure you hit subscribe and leave a like on the video.
Now, in terms of looks and style, this is very much like the sort of trail bikes you would have had in the 1970s with a flat bench seat and the same sort of setup, suspension in the frame, etc. This is obviously a 650cc engine and it's got more than enough power and torque off-road. And you can imagine an adventure bike which is heavier, bigger and much more powerful. It's too much off-road. So even here with this, you think, oh, it's got so much power, you have to sort of rein it in a little bit. It's very dry today, very dusty. We came down here in the winter in the Jeep and it was thick with mud. For me, it would have been more fun in the Jeep in the mud because I've been scraping the bottom a little bit because it's like concrete, the mud now. But as Darcy said, with this, your tyres are the limiting factor. And I used to do motocross. And with proper knobbly tyres on this, I'd be confident to do anything on it.
So today we've come not on 2 bikes. I've come on the Bear 650 and Dad's come in the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, which is a fantastic off-road car. And this motorcycle is just as capable. So it's just as capable as a Jeep Wrangler off-road, which is fantastic. Perhaps the really steep stuff, the Jeep would be better because you're in a car and it's more stable. But this has kept up with it and done everything that the Jeep's done so far, which I'm impressed by. But next time I think we'll come back here again with the Bullet 500 trials as well, because that's sort of slightly off-road capable as well. So it'd be interesting to see which of the 2 bikes is actually better off-road. And there's loads of other byways in our area, so I think we're going to try out various different ones and see which is the best. Now, this is the furthest we've explored down this byway, so we're going to carry on and see what the rest of it's like, because we only got this far in the winter when we came in the Jeep. So I wonder if the rest is harder or easier. I think it might be easier because we're coming downhill, but then the initial downhill bit might be quite difficult. So let's find out. If anything, this bike is probably slightly too powerful for off-roading. You want some it could do with a bit better engine braking because it can't do that at slow speed. So if you're on the Bullet 500 down here, it would probably just pop, 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 pop on the engine braking and it'd help you out, but you have to use the brakes a lot more with this. That's not to say that it's not capable. Engine braking's good at about 7 or 8 miles an hour, but on the really slow bits, perhaps it's not quite enough. The thing is, how many people generally who buy these bikes are going to do anything more serious than this off-road? And this bike's perfectly capable of this, so it's brilliant. It'll do pretty much anything and go pretty much anywhere. And the real limitation is the rider, like me, or the tyres. Oh, lovely cows. Blimey hell, they're beautiful cows. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, they're like Royal Enfields. They're coming to say hello. Look at them. They are gorgeous. So go away. I'm seeing this bike first. They probably think that I sound like the farmer on his quad bike and that I'm coming to feed them. They're mooing at me. They're upset. Can't believe I've not fed them. They've literally ran across the field. They're all at this end now. There you go, there you have it. You heard it here first. Cows love Royal Enfields. They love the sound of the Bear 650. Can you blame them? Some cows with taste. Whoa, my God! There's loads of them! Look at that! Oh, one's being shagged. Sorry, cows. Oh, side stand. Sorry, cows. Farmer will come and feed you. They're really upset with me. Oh, it's good to be moving though. It's so hot today. 26 degrees. What an incredible byway. It's lovely to come down a byway because there's no one else in sight. You don't see a single soul other than sheep, cows and birds. That's it. Oh, so hot. That was fantastic. So there you go. If you want to explore off the beaten track on your motorcycle, can you do it on a Bear 650? Well, the answer is yes. So if anyone said you can't, they're wrong.